Welcome to our homestead. We're so glad you're here. We live about half a mile outside the city limits in Middle Georgia, and we're choosing to do things a little bit differently with our family. My name's Rhiannon, and this is my wonderful husband, Tracy. We're working around our house doing things like gardening, canning, and homeschooling our two sons, Logan and Kevin. We're also raising chickens, growing our own food, preserving it, and doing all the things that we can to be independent. Spring is such a lovely time here, and while we are busy with the garden and doing all the things outside, I generally change my house seasonally. As I've gotten older and had the two boys, I just find that decorating for certain holidays doesn't really fit with our family. It sort of seems that we need to just do something that lasts a little bit longer, and then I'm not always redecorating and then putting things away and getting things out for. So I'm just doing a quick refresh for spring here. In the wintertime, I have some blackout curtains and some shears, but we generally just keep those closed. We keep the warmth in. We run our wood stove. In the wintertime, that heats our house so that we don't have to use our heating system. And so in the spring, it's just nice to freshen things up, clean the windows from all the little grimy fingerprints, and put on some very simple one-piece curtains so that they can be opened up easily and just let the light in and allow things to just feel open and fresh. I also change our couch out as well. I had the absolutely brilliant idea when my oldest was about 6 years old to get a very light beige micro suede couch. And with one boy, that was a giant mistake. And then very shortly after that, we had our second boy. And so in order to keep my couch from not being completely destroyed, I use fitted sheets. These are from Walmart. You can buy them just as themselves. You don't actually have to buy a complete sheet set if you don't want to. But I use these as my couch covers because I can just take them off and wash them. If anything leaks through them, then, I have to clean the couch cushions, of course. But using these really takes care of the majority of the spills. So in the wintertime, I usually have a flannel option. It's just cozy and nice for us when we're sitting on the couch in front of the fire or in front of the TV. I also use this time when I'm swapping them out to our spring and summer covers, which again are just fitted sheets from Walmart. They're like $5 a piece. Vacuuming under the couch and getting all the little crumbs and Cheerios. I don't wear an apron every single day, but I am wearing one today because when I clean the couch, I inevitably find a million little Nerf bullets and random socks and magnets and all kinds of things, and the pockets just really help me out with that. They give me a place to just put all that crap while I'm cleaning. I will also say this, just having a spring and fall routine for us has really simplified things. It's made my decorating a lot easier. I've been able to simplify and still feel like we are in step with the seasons. So in the spring, I bring in the lighter fabrics. I'll change some of the pillows that we keep on the back of the couch to either a solid or a light floral. And then the couch cushions themselves, you can see here, I'm just doing a solid gray. By changing the curtains, by just freshening everything up, it keeps me from having to store a lot of what I call tchotchke decorations. I don't need little glass bunnies and fake flowers to tell me that it's spring. I go out and I cut some green branches from a bush or a tree and I throw them in a vase, and it brings freshness into my house. It brings spring into my house. In the fall, when I swap these back to the flannels and I'm putting more blankets out and I'm keeping things cozy and I'm bringing in those fall leaves or evergreen branches in the winter time for my mantle, it's giving me the feeling of the season. And so I've really found as I've gotten older that decorating seasonally rather than decorating holiday-wise has not only simplified things in my life, I don't feel like I'm always having to catch up, but also it has just made for less clutter in my house. It has kept things more simple. And then when my kids make seasonal things in their homeschool, co-op, or just even in our curriculum, it gives me a chance to display those proudly instead of feeling like they're adding one more layer to something I've already decorated. And just for a size reference, a twin fitted sheet fits this end our chase lounge, I guess you could say. And then it is a full size fitted sheet that I wrap around these two cushions on our couch. So those two sizes give us a pretty tight fit overall, and I haven't had a problem with them popping off. You're gonna stretch them pretty tight and you're not gonna think it works, but it really actually does. And then another thing that I would really suggest is learn how to sew some cushion covers. I don't really care for the dark brown pillows on our couch anymore, so I just got some fabric, and then these gray cushion, or these gray pillowcases are pillowcases from Walmart that I just added a zipper and sewed them, and now they make great pillow covers. Another part of spring cleaning for me is cleaning out our wood stove. Like I said, we use our wood stove almost all winter. We very rarely run our heat because this wood stove is tiny, but it is mighty. And the best trick I have learned for getting all of the season's grime and ash off of the door is actually to reuse the ashes. So here I have a wet rag that I'm just dipping into the ashes left from our last fire. It has been a while, but getting the garden in is just so much more of a priority than doing something like this. So I'm just taking a wet rag and I'm dipping it into the ashes and then using it to take the grime off of this glass door. Now, it is not going to get it 100% clean, but it does such an amazing job. You don't have to buy cleaner or anything like that. And honestly, if I had longer than 10 or 15 minutes to work on this door, I could get it completely spotless. But sometimes my goal in life is really just good enough. And so by the end of this, you will be able to see inside that stove and it will be clean and ready for next year's fires. Okay. So next on the list for the fireplace is actually to clean it out. So any of the extra ashes, I'm going to shovel those out, and then my plan is to go ahead and use our shop vac to finish cleaning out the stove and just kind of be done with it for the year. But as you will see, our shop vac does not have a filter in it. So as I am vacuuming, I actually am just making it completely worse and shooting dust all over the living room. So, you live and learn, mistakes happen, and that's just life. Okay, so since that is not working and I'm just making a bigger mess, we are just gonna sweep out and do the best we can. And, we just may need to revisit that in the fall before we light our first fire. But that's sort of just how homemaking goes. You kind of go and do and, fix it later. Okay, so just a quick vacuum to clean up the dusty mess that I made. And then we're gonna finish out in the dining room and the front porch. One thing I do want to point out, our box fan, we have learned an amazing trick, and that is to put a air filter, this one's a 20 by 20, on the back of a box fan and run it in your house 24/7. This for us has decreased the amount of dust just exponentially. There's such a difference when I run it versus when I don't. I'll even move it around to different rooms sometimes, but especially when I'm vacuuming, I try to keep it in the same room because the vacuum puts out dust. No matter what anybody says, there is no vacuum that is completely sealed. And if you have one that you think would beat this, send it to me and I'll definitely test it out. But I will be honest with you, the fan with the filter trick has just been magic. Moving into the dining room, this is another kind of main area in our house. We do not have an open floor plan, so we decided when we were going to homeschool that we would set up the homeschool area in the kitchen. And while that seems to be Kevin's favorite spot to do his work, Logan really prefers the dining room where he can spread out all over the table. So since we use this area so much for both meals and school, keeping it clean and organized is a focus for me. And so all I'm doing is just cleaning the windows, getting these curtains on. These curtains are from Target. I bought them years ago, and the yellow color is my favorite. And so I just am swapping them out. Kevin is really excited that he's finally big enough to open the curtains on his own. It's one of the first things we do in the morning. So I'm just getting everything swapped out and ready for spring. I think one of the things about being home all the time that I've noticed is my whole family tends to be a little nest of squirrels. And we tend to just kind of leave piles of things everywhere because we are all very visual. And so leaving them out ensures that we will remember to see them and use them or complete the task or whatever the situation may be. And for the most part, that's fine for us. I know everyone's different, but every now and then seeing 100 different little piles just really gets to me and kind of makes me anxious. And those are the moments that I know that I have to stop and reset my house and make sure that the piles that are out actually need to be out versus just we've left them out and don't put things away. So I notice that I function better when my spaces are just cleaned up. And if I need a lot of things out, I can leave them out. But otherwise, I can see that I'm just much calmer when everything seems organized and just put where it should be. Moving on to the front porch, again, I talked about doing seasonal decor instead of holiday decor. And so for me, I've slowly been bringing out my plants from our shed as the days and nights have gotten warmer. But also I've been wanting to add some spring touches. You can see my flowers are in bloom and I'm just so grateful for the warm weather that we've had. So changing things out to lighten it up with a door hanger, adding a cushion cover to our bench that we use. In the summertime, unfortunately, our front porch is really just too hot to sit on in the afternoons. But in the mornings, it really is a lovely space because the sun rises behind our house. So in the morning, the boys and I will often come out here with some coffee or some hot tea or a little bit of breakfast, and we will do our morning reading time for our homeschool day, our Bible reading, our poetry. Sometimes we listen to an audiobook out here, or we've even just done our entire school day out here. But it's a really nice space, and if I can keep it clean, it is just a great place to be. One thing I love to do on my front porch, besides add my plants, is I have this beautiful Southern Living urn that I got years ago. And so I will cut fresh branches in the summertime. It gives me a good opportunity to prune some of my bushes. Here I'm going to prune one of my forsythia that is just like some of the low-hanging bushes. These will sometimes root when I put them in some water, and so for me it's a great chance to possibly get some more forsythia starts, whether I use them or I give them to friends. But also it's just another great way. If you are not a huge plant person, then you can ask friends or neighbors if you can just come and trim their bushes. And I will be honest with you, no one has ever told me no on this. And it's just an easy way to add some fresh stuff to your front porch and just to give it a little bit of a new look for spring and just kind of keep it updated and going on. In the wintertime, I will put some cedar branches, or we have some Leland cypress bushes on our property that I will cut and I will put in this same container. And it just gives it that seasonal feel instead of having to go out and purchase things. Thank you so much for coming along with me today while I gave my house just a little bit of a spring update, got ready for the warm weather. Please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel as we are working to create new content every week and give you guys a little glimpse into our small homestead here in the middle of Georgia.